Hey everybody, welcome to Hollyberry Colors. I'm Holly. This is my very first chatty color video. I'm excited. So I did this big long recording and it ended up being way over an hour. So I decided to cut it down and speed it up a little bit, and I'm doing a voiceover just so I can hang out with you guys because those are my favorite kind of videos and that's what I would like to share with you. So I had big plans for this video. I was going to color the sky and the mountains, and it didn't happen, and I should have known better cuz I'm a super slow colorist. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that's all right. We're learning. But I had a lot of fun, and I really hope you enjoy this video. So this page is from Circle of Life by Melpomeni Chatzipanagiotou. And it's a buddy color with Piggy Pins tube. She's Piggy Pins on Instagram. Her name's Jo. She's wonderful. I was able to bribe her to buy this book, and I felt horrible about it. So now we're buddying on it so that she can get a page done in it, and I can kind of, suffer's not the right word, but, I'm going to experience the book with her, and we're coloring this page together. So it's a lot of fun. I'll link her channel down in the description. And anyways, so yeah, this is a buddy color, and she didn't mind that I was filming this. So this video, we're just doing the sky, and again, I'm a new YouTuber, so I might do some of this wonky stuff where I'm moving the book all around. So I'm really sorry about that. But sometimes comfort matters, and it's hard to color when you're filming. I don't think people really realize it. I know the YouTubers understand, but normally when I color, my face is right on the book because I'm old and I have a hard time seeing in dark light. That's why I have to use a ring light all the time to color. Excuse me. But yeah, it's hard to film in color. So sometimes I'm going to turn the book just to make it a little bit easier for me, and hopefully y'all don't mind. But so here on this part, I'm going through my colors. This is my second color. I did pale vermilion first. I'm using Prismacolors. Now I'm on orange. And I'll try to pop up a picture, like a reference photo that I'm using. Because when I saw this page, I was thinking, well, it's fall when we're doing this buddy color. I want to do a fall sunrise because the sun's coming up in this coloring page. So I did a Google search and I found this photo I liked. And I wanted to replicate it a little bit, use it like a reference. So I went through my Prismas, I found all my colors. Here's my third color, yellow and orange. And I love the way that the oranges transition to the blues. I find that to be really fun to try to color and not make it look janky and ugly. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. And picked out my colors. And you'll see, I think there's one more color between this and the next one, but I end up using light peach to transition from the yellows to the blues. And it really helps with that transition and making sure that it's not all gross looking. And I also wanted to ask while I'm thinking about it. Oh, here's a little tidbit from me on the screen. I'm not coloring super dark around the sun right here because I'm not quite sure yet how I want the blues to go above it. I'm pretty confident in how I want the colors around the mountains, so I went ahead and made those darker. But for right now, I'm keeping the colors lighter around the sun until I have to make a final decision. But anyways, I was wondering, if there's anything in particular you guys would like to see from me in terms of video content. Like, is there anything in particular you would like me to color or give tidbits on my methods for how I come up with colors, that kind of thing. So if you want to leave a comment, let me know. I'd love to get some ideas because I want to make stuff that you guys want to watch. Here's my amateurness showing. I'm blocking half of the screen with my arm. My problem right now is my desk is kind of wobbly that I'm using here. I got a cheap desk, which, that should tell you everything that you need to know. And it's a little bit flimsier than I was hoping. So my camera mount kind of shakes on it a little bit. But I'm going to work on getting some different equipment to see if I can kind of fine-tune my filming process here. And speaking of filming, the reason that my book is over here to the side for a lot of the video is because I was planning to have my reference photo up for most of the video. And I mean well when I'm planning these things, and I just think it's going to work out great, and it doesn't. So we're adjusting. So in the future, once I get a few more videos under my belt, I think I'll have a better idea of how to film videos where they look more cohesive and like I know what I'm doing. So, I'm working on that. So here I am with my Spanish orange. And again, I'm going light around the sun because I'm just not ready to commit to that relationship. So going light there. And I believe the next color is going to be our peach. So that's exciting. We're moving on to the next step. And I'm going, oh, here we go. Hold on. I forgot. Yeah, I decided to go ahead and darken the colors around the sun because I felt okay enough to go ahead and do that and move on to the next step. Let's see, what was I saying? I really can't remember. Things just escape me and they're gone. So anyways, yes, coloring around the sun here, and this is going to help us transition to our next color. And if you remember what the reference image looked like, it was kind of a flat horizon. Whereas this photo is not. There's mountains everywhere. The sun is not right at the horizon line. So I'm having to kind of be creative here and figure out where my colors are going to go on my particular page versus my reference image. So here we are. We're going from the kind of orangish yellows to the light peach. And I'm going to keep just doing the light peach all around. I don't know what I was doing with my hand there. So we're going to do the light peach all around, and eventually we will get to where we're going to add the blues in. So that's the next step. Just enjoy me coloring with the peach, guys. That's fun. And I'm also really excited because I was tagged recently by Deeply Immersed Geek to do a video on some books, and it had some prompts and questions. And I'm super excited to make a video on that so you guys can see some books that I'm into, some books that kind of scare me, and some things I'm hoping to be able to accomplish by the end of the year. So I will be trying to film that pretty soon. And it's really funny because as soon as I start my YouTube video channel, my life is kind of changing a little bit. I have been out of work this entire year since January. I worked at a macaron bakery last year, and unfortunately I had to leave due to some arthritis issues in my foot. There's a joint underneath your ankle, and I ended up having severe arthritis in that joint. So the only real option I felt besides just long-term pain management was fusing that joint. So I had surgery. They put some screws in there to try to get the bone to fuse. And unfortunately, it ended up not working. And my foot's a little better, but I'm still in, constant pain every day. It's not horrible every day, but it's not great being in pain every day. I'm sure you chronic pain sufferers know all about it. So I had to go back to the doctor, my podiatrist, and I ended up somehow after my surgery dislocating a tendon in my foot. Real quick, here we are going to the blues. So I'm transitioning from the pinks to the blues now. And anyways, so I ended up dislocating a tendon in my foot, which the only way to fix that is through surgery. And the thing fusing my bones together was they're probably like 4-inch screws that went up through my heel. They were kind of bothering me, so I decided to take those out too. So I had to have a second surgery in late August to fix the tendon that was moving around and take the screws out. So I finally this week been released from that surgery, but I'm still having pain and all that kind of stuff. So my podiatrist told me to look into seeing a rheumatologist. But to do that, I have to have a primary care doctor, which I did not have. Please don't judge me. I'm just not into that. So I went to one today. Finally got I don't know what you call it, an order for blood work for autoimmune stuff. So I'm in the process of going to see a rheumatologist to figure out what's wrong with me, because my feet hurt, my ankles hurt, my joints hurt. I've had shoulder pain for 2 years now. So hopefully I'll get some answers there. Fun fact, I am hypermobile, so my joints move more than they should, and I think that's part of my problem. But hopefully a rheumatologist can kind of diagnose that for me officially. I'm kind of self-diagnosing. But anyways, that's where I'm at in my health journey. And here on my coloring journey, we are now starting to darken our colors. So my first pass through on my colors, I didn't go super, super crazy dark. I didn't burnish. I didn't get rid of the tooth of the paper. Here I'm embarrassed because I finally figured out how to zoom in. Yay me, gold star. So I finally figured that out. This will be another thing that I will improve. I will figure out how to zoom in faster or off the get-go so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. But here I am. I'm going back through all my colors. Here I am coloring, like, not even in frame. I'm a clown. Hello. And now we're back to being in frame, coloring, darkening our colors. And my first initial pass through, I did not go super dark or hard with my pressure, because it's more mapping out my colors, figuring out where I want them to be on the page. And I didn't want to press too hard and get too much pigment on the paper where I couldn't erase it and fix it if I needed to. So now I've got everything figured out. I can start darkening my colors. I'm applying a little bit more pressure when I color so that I can start blending and smooshing my Prismacolor pigments together, because now's the time where I want to start darkening, deepening color. I want that smooth gradient look where it doesn't look all harsh between the colors. So that's what I'm doing here. And that's what this process is. And I speed up a little bit through here. Yeah. So here now I'm darkening the blues, because I still actually have one more color I'm going to add to this. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when I get there. So I'm darkening the lighter blue, the light sky blue, I think it is. And let me see. Here we go. Here I'm adding the non-photo blue. This is my darkest blue. And the technique I'm using here is very light pressure, because if you were to, I don't want this blue to be as dark as it can actually go. Like if you were to apply hard pressure on the paper and burnish and get this blue as dark as it can go, that's not what I want. I want kind of a lighter shade of it. So I'm going lighter here over the previous blue, the skylight blue. I colored that all the way up to the edge of the illustration. And I'm going over it with this blue. And in the next step, I will show you what, how I finish this technique to get a nice gradient between the lighter blue and the darker blue. But in the meantime, before I get to that step, I also wanted to tell you that I'm crazy and I'm going back to work at my macaron bakery part-time until kind of mid-December. So we'll see how that goes and if my feet survive. I do have really nice braces from my podiatrist, and I'll just sit on my butt when I'm not working at home and color. My husband said he'd help take care of me after work. I'd love a little bit of extra Christmas money, to spend on my kids, because I want to spoil them. And maybe I can buy myself a couple extra books, coloring books or something. So I will be going back to work Monday. We'll see how I fare with my time management. I'm going to have to readjust there. But I'm excited. I miss everyone at my workplace. It's all a bunch of ladies and everyone is so fun there, and the hours are great and the commute is great. It's only 15 minutes from my house. And I used to drive 45 minutes for my previous part-time position to the nearest large city around me, and that wasn't fun. So yeah, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm worried about my feet because my podiatrist told me that I also need to be working a desk job, which makes me all kinds of sad because I do not want to work a desk job. Oh man, that just makes me sad. Unless the desk job is coloring YouTube. If that's my desk job, I'm cool with that. That's okay. But if I have to sit at a desk and type on a computer all day and talk to people on the phone, who likes that? I really don't want to do that. I don't want to do customer service. I don't want to do any of that kind of stuff. But anyways, I digress. So here I am darkening my non-photo blue because, again, it's like I did with the previous colors. I kind of get a feel for where I want the colors to be. It's a chance for me to just get some color on the page and be comfortable with where it is, but I can also change it if I need to. So I've accomplished that here. And now I am darkening this blue to move on to the next step in my process, which will be burnishing and doing final blending. So eventually I will get through all of this blue here, the non-photo blue, and be able to talk about the next step. But yeah, I like this sky. It's a little bit crazy. I don't see a lot of people do this kind of thing. So that's another reason I enjoy it, because it's not something you really see too much. I mean, maybe I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but yes, so I'm still just going away and darkening the blue, moving the book around all over the place. Again, this is super uncomfortable. This is not how I normally color. But for you guys, I love you, so I'm gonna be uncomfortable a little bit so you can be happy. Or not happy, but so you can see. I'm just blabbing, guys. I'm trying to just keep talking, and that's hard for me. I'm actually not a big talker in real life. I'm more of a listener. I listen and I kind of take notes and remember things, and that's kind of me. That's why I love my husband, because he can't shut up sometimes. I love him so much. And he'll just talk and talk, and I'll be like, yeah, I agree. And he's happy, I'm happy. It's wonderful. So yeah, eventually I will finish this blue. Man, this is so much fun, isn't it? But yeah, I kind of lighten my pressure on my pencil a little bit when I'm getting more towards the center of the illustration. So I'm pressing a little bit harder there on the outside edge of the circle, and eventually release pressure as I get towards the middle. Okay, here we go. So now I'm burnishing the blues together, and I'm using the sky blue lights only for this step, because it's kind of like when you use a white Prisma or a white pencil to burnish your colors together, it lightens it a little bit. And I didn't want the blue too super dark. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just burnishing with this light blue, getting rid of all the tooth of the paper. And it's a little bit hard to, I don't know, it seems a little hard to see on camera to me, but it looks good in person. I don't usually like my coloring. I always find something wrong with it because I'm a horrible perfectionist. But I'm pretty happy with the way that this guy turns out. So here is my final step in my process. You don't have to do this. This is why it takes me over an hour just to color this one little piece of the page. But I go back and I like to do final blending and burnishing to get that smooth look with all of my different colors. I'll go back and forth, getting that final look that I'm happy with. All right, guys, that's a wrap on our first chatty color along. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, if there's anything you'd like to see me color or have requests, please let me know. I'd love to do that for you. I really enjoyed coloring this page with you. The sky was a lot of fun. Please like, comment, subscribe. I love hearing from you. I love visiting with you and hanging out. Y'all are my peeps. So until next time, y'all take care, be safe, and I'll see you soon.